Thank you so much for being here tonight. We are excited to share with you something that we absolutely love and to tell you a little bit more about the business of gut health. My name is Brooke Hemingway. I am a triple diamond in this company, and I have been with Plexus for 5.5 years. I came into this industry of social selling with zero experience and zero network. Actually, it's kind of hilarious. I had 150 Facebook friends. I had no Instagram following. I had no sales and marketing training. I come from a health background. I was a fitness instructor and trainer for over 20 years, as well as an ICU nurse for 10 years. I am an introvert, which may be hard to believe, but it is true. I refuel by being by myself. And so I may not have checked the boxes for what people think it takes to be successful in this business, but I had a love for these products. I had a love for other people, and I had a love for pushing myself to create a good life for my family and for other people's families for generations to come. I want to be honest with you. I want to know in the chat if any of you have ever had any negative thoughts or feelings about network marketing, direct sales, social selling. Any of you, have you experienced that? Maybe raise your hand, nod your head, drop a comment in the chat. We love to interact here with you guys. Leanne, Christy, Sandy, yes. Most people do come to this with some negative thoughts, some baggage from their past. Maybe your parents did Amway and they were always doing meetings in the living room and they never made a dime. Or maybe you have tried 5 or 6 things and you've never been successful at any of them. And so you're not really sure if you believe in this industry. We get it. I had no experience and really literally no belief in it because I didn't have that experience. I didn't know what was possible with social selling. But I have to be honest with you, with what's gone on in the last year and a half, social selling is where it's at. In fact, I did a post today talking about how last year I experienced a 20% raise. Have you ever had a job where you've had a 20% raise in a year? Typically, we're talking like 0.2%, something along those lines, something that ends up being a couple dollars a week. Last year in my social selling business, I had a 20% raise because when things are uncertain, when times are not smooth sailing, when there is something going on in the world or in the economy, or people don't know what's going to happen, they start losing their jobs or things become unstable, they start to look to how they can take control of their future, how they can take control of their destiny, and how they can decide what their life is going to be like, irrespective of what happens in a country, in an economy, or with their boss that decides one day they don't need them anymore. We've all had experiences like this in our life, and social selling provides you an online business for basically $9.95 this month. For $9.95 and no inventory that you keep in your garage and that you have to mail, you can start a business with Plexus. We are thrilled to share with you our stories tonight, and I'm going to save mine for a little bit later. I've invited 3 of my dear friends, some that are in this business with me and some that are just sidelines that I truly respect and I absolutely love. And we all have different stories. And I'm going to turn the time over next to my friend Angela. She's going to share her story of how she got started in Plexus, what this business means to her, and what it's done for her family, as well as what she's doing with this opportunity for her future.
Well, hey, y'all, from down here in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm so excited to be on here with you, Brooke. Thank you for inviting me. I love every opportunity I get to open my mouth and talk about everything this business has done for my health, for my life, for my family, and for my future. My future is bright, and I couldn't always say that. I came to Plexus as a woman who lived life from a chair, a couch, a bed, and a wheelchair. Okay. I was very, very sick and desperate. And if you've ever dealt with chronic illness, you understand what it's like to feel invisible and to deal with heavy, heavy depression. And my future did not look bright. You know what I thought? I only thought things were going to get worse. My husband literally talked to my adult children about what they would do if they lost me. Okay, so that was my reality, and it was grim. And then I believe by the grace of God that I found Plexus. I met a woman at church that introduced me to the products. She just asked me a simple question. I was crying and telling her all the things that I was dealing with. And she said, "Have you ever considered gut health?" And as a nurse, I was like, light bulb. Yes, ma'am, I have. Because every night that I was awake and my family was asleep and it was 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and those are really very lonely times. But I spent a lot of that time researching how can I get better, because I love my family. I have a wonderful husband who's a chaplain in the Navy, and I have 4 incredible kids and 2 grandchildren. So I love my life and I wanted to live my life. And so I would research and research. Well, everything brought me back to gut health, everything. But I couldn't do the diets. I'm riding around in the wheelchair cart at Walmart to get my groceries. And then I got to try to get them put away. And I couldn't cook whole fresh. I'm just telling you, I couldn't make that happen in my life. And so when I heard about this and how it would simplify that, I really didn't want to start. If I'm being honest, my husband, I said, babe, you know what? I have tried everything. I didn't want to get my hopes up again and get disappointed. And he said, you know what? Do it for me then. So I said, okay, I'll give it a try. So here we are, almost, well, over 3 years later, and I am thriving in my life. I'm thriving in my health. So what I found, I mean, what do I love about this business? Everything. Everything. I love that I get to work from home. I love that if I have Wi-Fi and this little baby right here, I can do anything I want to do. And my oldest 2 children and my grandchildren live in Washington State. I'm in Tennessee. I can get on an airplane and go see my babies anytime I want to, because I have financial freedom. I have time freedom. I have all of that. My 2 younger children that are still at home, they're 16 and 11. I homeschool them. And I love that, because homeschooling, then we can just pick up and go. If we miss the babies, or I miss my adult kids, or somebody's having a wedding or something's happening, guess what? We have complete flexibility. And I love that so much. So I love to work from home. I love the financial freedom. I love to travel. But you know what I love the most about the business is the connections. And this gets me emotional because I'm looking at Leanne Meeks here, and she's on my team, and her life has been changed. Her family's financial future has been changed. And I would have never known this incredible woman if it wasn't for this opportunity, for this business. She's my sister and my best friend, and we just do life together and enjoy it all. So that's what I love. I love people. I am not an introvert at all. People energize me, and so that's what I love. I love doing this. I love coaching and training and teaching and helping other people be empowered to do what I've done, because it's possible. I'm like, if I can do it, you can do it, right? So, and Brooke asked me to share how it's blessed my family. Like I said, my husband's in the military, and we had 45-day notice. This was like 9 months after I joined Plexus, that my husband was deployed to Africa for 15 months. And I had Plexus. I had a business that I could focus on while he was away. And I worked on my mindset, and he came home to a totally different woman. I can tell you that right now. I worked on personal growth and development. I hate that I was 42 years old before I ever knew about mindset. Okay. And now I have an 11-year-old daughter that writes about mindset, that encourages her friends, that I can hear her say, girl, don't say that. That's negative. You can do whatever you want to do. Right. Just all the things. I see the blessing of my children when they watch me work diligently and get paid well for it. Right? They're not saying goodbye to me to go work a 12-hour shift, come home dog dead tired, and still not be able to make ends meet. That's not what's happening over here. Right? And I love that. So it has been a huge blessing. And then recently my husband was deployed to New Orleans, and we built a home in Tennessee 2 years ago. And I didn't have to leave my home for the first time in 20 years of a military career. I got to keep the home that we built, because my Plexus paycheck covers everything in this house. It doesn't even touch our budget, y'all. Okay. That is huge. for a military family to be able to stay put is completely unheard of. So, okay, I'm trying to finish up, Brooke. I'm so passionate. I know you know that, and I don't want to take too much time. The last thing I'll share is just this the springboard for what this has done in my life. Y'all, I'm passionate about women and about speaking to them and encouraging them and showing them resilience and grit and determination, and that what you work hard for, you can have. So I get that opportunity to open my mouth and to speak into other people's lives, because when I was going through really dark things in my life, it was speakers that I listened to, right? It was Joyce Meyer and some other really big voices that encouraged me and kept me out of despair. And that's what I want to give to people. So thank you so much for having me, Brooke.
That is so powerful. And I want to hear in the chat box if you've ever struggled and you've been through challenging times, and just hearing other people speak into you and encourage you has been something that has helped you to overcome. That's definitely a huge part of the community at Plexus and what we're all about. And I can attest to the same thing with my 14-year-old son. He's got a personal development podcast, and he's always giving advice on, how to have a good attitude and how to make the most of anything. And it's hilarious, but also really incredible, because he never would have been down that path had I not chosen to be an entrepreneur. And it is a choice. I have to tell you that with this type of business, it doesn't matter where you come from, what your background is, what your previous work experience, whether you're a photographer or a nurse or a stay-at-home mom or an athlete or a musician or whatever you are. You can use whatever experience you have in life in any profession and your relationships and connections with people to grow an unstoppable business. This is the business of relationships. And that's why it doesn't really matter what background you come from. And it's also why it attracts all different kinds of people from any socioeconomic or ethnic or part of the country or part of the world or profession or education. It is so powerful. Now, I have to tell you some exciting things about Plexus if we're getting down to the business of things. I want to know, in your typical job, how often you're paid every month. Once a month? Maybe twice a month, if you're lucky. I remember working at a bank when we were young, dumb, and broke, is what I say. We got married really young. We'll be married 23 years this summer. My husband's a physician. I put him through med school. I went to nursing school. We did all the things on $7.25 an hour, and we were paid twice a month at the bank. And the best gift I ever got was a ham at Christmas. Okay. In Plexus, we are paid 5 times a month. We're paid every Friday, plus on the 15th of the month. And then sometimes there's really extra like fun bonuses that are in there. We're also paid 7 levels deep. That means that if I, for example, was to get my friend Angela started, Angela would be my level 1, but she gets people started and they get people started, and somebody else wants to feel good, and then somebody else wants to feel good. And that goes 7 levels deep. I also really love that there is no tricky system to figure out where you stack people. There's no moving volume or shuffling people and teams around like they're commodities. That's something that can happen in social sales that people just feel icky about. But in our business, you help your people. Then you help them help 3 people. Then you help them help 3 people. And all of a sudden, you're waking up one day and you have a team of 20,000 people like I have. And you're like, how did this even happen? And I'm paid 5 times a month, except that I have 3 diamond accounts, because in our business, you can go to the top. Then you can re-enter under yourself as a 2.0 version of yourself and do it again. And then if you have a spouse, you can do it for your spouse. Your spouse can do it with you. And then your spouse can re-enter again and do it again. So actually, we're paid 15 times every month. 15 times. Imagine that. It's possible in Plexus. There is no glass ceiling. You can just keep soaring and soaring. I also love earning trips. Honestly, you guys, my love language is helping people. Well, I love to give gifts and I love to help people believe in themselves. And these ladies can attest to that. I'm a little over the top with gifts, but I love travel. I want to hear in the chat box if you love travel. Do you love adventure? Do you love to go new places? Do you love to take people you love on trips? Would you love to take your spouse or your significant other on a getaway once or twice a year? Would you love to take your mom, your sister, your best friends to the spa? Does that sound fun? Well, I love it. And so the travel, like, I was like, ooh, as I started growing a business, I was like, I want to do that. And the funny thing is, one of my friends that does this business with me now, Julia Bender, who's here on this call, I met her through Instagram. We did not know each other. I met her through Instagram. She's now one of my dearest friends. And I invited her to come on one of my paid trips that I earned through Plexus. And that's the first time I actually met her in person. And she had just started to share and just started to dive into this business. She is now one of the top ranks in the company, and she's going to share her story with us.
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad to be here. Yes, so I started sharing. I'd never met Brooke before in person. We had a friend in common. And when she started posting about gut health, I actually reached out to her because I had been searching for an answer for well over 2 to 3 years for my health. And I'll go into that in a minute. But she invited me to this. Actually, it was to convention in the summer. And I think I thought about it and I was like, I'm okay. Thanks, though. Like, I had no idea. I didn't know what like any things. My husband would be like triple black diamond platinum. Like, what is Brooke? We don't know. So I didn't know anything about ranking. I'd never done network marketing. And I just thought, oh, that's cute. So she's like, what if you just come? And I thought, okay, I don't know. And I just felt so silly being there, like with my hoodie, my California sweatpants, right? I'm showing up to this beautiful convention center. I didn't realize it was black tie the night before. So women are decked out to the hills. And I was like, see, I'm not fitting in, until I saw mom swivel around and she had her little baby with her, like a 2 to 3 month old baby. And I just thought, this is for moms. Like, this is for anybody. Like, yes, you look like, the girls I didn't hang out with in high school, but this is for everybody. Like, this is awesome. And so I met Brooke, who's like a little firecracker. And I remember being like, are you like famous or something? As I'd follow her around. And I just remember being in a room, probably one of the first nights, and everybody in the room just started sharing one by one their health story. And that's where it really sunk in for me, that this whole business is just based on like sharing your story and sharing your trials and using what I've recently learned as like, you can have ownership over the things that you have, or you have stewardship. And stewardship simply means that you take the trials and the things that you have been hard for you in your health and in your life, and you take it, you work through it. And as you're doing that, you help bless other people and you help show up so that the thing that you were given stewardship over for me, that's mental health, physical health, a lot of separation with my husband in the military, a lot of different mindset issues for me. And I take stewardship and I look to what can I do for good with that? If that resonates with you, I would love to hear your feedback. Like, if you think, what is all this for? Why did I go through all this? Is it just to become stronger? What is it for? Well, this is an opportunity for you to take those trials, and we're not done yet, right? And to use it for good, to use it to help bless other people that are maybe in the middle of it or at the bottom of it or just beginning, and to say, come with me. You're not alone. You don't have to feel this way alone. And there is hope. So for me, I found hope with my health. I had found hope with years of chronic stomach issues, sugar cravings that were like a food group to me. Maybe you can relate to that. And when I experienced an eating disorder because of in college, because I couldn't stop, and I couldn't stop feeling sick, but I couldn't stop eating it. And I had so much shame over how I looked and how I felt. And I closeted that part of me for years and years. Over time, I developed a thyroid imbalance and then an autoimmune disorder. And I just thought lots of mental health struggles. And I wasn't showing up as the mom that I wanted to be. And I don't know if any of you guys can relate, where you're just like, is this it? Like, is it just this? And then we just get older. Like, so like the health is bad. And then I get the gray hair, and then I get the cane. And then we end up with Angela in the wheelchair at Walmart. Like, is this the life? And yeah, that looks fun, but you guys can't get anything off that top shelf if you're in the wheelchair. You're stuck to that middle shelf. So we have a process, like a place here where like we can offer hope to people. And by trying the products, you have hope not only for your life, for your health, for your kids' health, for your spouse's health, but for your life. Like, if you want the opportunity to say yes, you need a vehicle. And you may not even know today what you need the opportunity to say yes for. And all of us can attest to that, that there have been things in our life where we're so grateful that we had residual income, time flexibility, so that we could say yes at a time when it was crucial for our family. For me, that meant, same with Angela, working through a deployment and having a community of really loving, incredible people, being able to gift my husband a trip of a lifetime, watching him sleep in for 4 days for the first time in 10 years of a career, and have literally zero stress, zero, after a tour in Afghanistan, we were able to say yes to, this is our family, and this is our little girl. Her name is Mila. And at the very beginning of Plexus, we put in papers for an adoption, and adoption's around 30,000, closer to 50 if you travel with your whole family. And my husband was like, we're not doing t-shirt stuff. Like, we just had to figure it out. And I was like, oh, this is a lot of money. And I didn't know how. And then I just thought, what about this? And so I did. So we went to China. We picked up our little girl. We came back with zero debt, you guys. Not one bill to be paid on our credit card. Our entire family of 5 went to China and brought home a little girl. And she has changed our life. And we have changed the life of a person. And that is not the end of my story. That's actually the beginning, because I get to now help other people and women find their voice, to create an impact, to push for causes, and to say yes to things that in the previous years they thought, I would love to, but. So think about what comes to your mind where you're like, I would love to travel with my husband, sure, because that's what I thought. But like, that's just not where the budget's going. Or we'll have to save up for 5 years for that trip and squirrel away money every year. When they pass around things, or somebody on whatever says, can you contribute to this fund? And you're like, I wish that you can say yes to whatever your heart desires and the life that you want to live. You can say yes if you do the work and if you show up in a way that is you, right? So for me, that's time together for my family. The first 10 years of our marriage, he was gone for more than 3 years, actually, of the first 8 years of my son's life. That's a lot of time. So I am fighting for time freedom. And maybe you need to dig in and figure out what you're fighting for and what's worth it to you. And if you could see the life that you dream of, this is a vehicle that you can do that with. And you can be awesome and happy and healthy along the way.
Oh my gosh, we could just drop the mic right there. That was amazing. And that is so true. It's like, you don't have to pick one or the other. You can have it all. You can have all the things. You can have the health, you can have the wealth, you can have the relationships, you can have the fun trips, you can have all the things. And Plexus provides that vehicle. Some of you are probably wondering, well, how in the world would she be able to fund that adoption? And so I love to share what is actually possible and realistic in Plexus. And this chart that you're seeing right here, every woman that's speaking on this call, and we have dozens of men as well in our company, and almost 1,000 jewels in our company that are at these ranks making this type of income. So this isn't the type of thing that's a pipe dream and maybe one person does every once in a while. You know how you see those things and you're like, oh yeah, like nobody actually gets the car. Nobody actually reaches the top. Well, last year we had over 100 people reach these new ranks in our company, and we're getting ready to prepare for an even greater influx of people in the top ranks, because Plexus has just made their compensation plan even richer and even more generous. In fact, that was just announced today. I want to hear in the chat box what you're excited about with that, and what you're planning to do this year if you're already in this business. Now, as an Emerald, which is where Julia and Phyllis are at, that's a team of approximately 300 to 400 individuals. And there's a low end and a high end, because in this business, there are no guarantees, as with anything in entrepreneurship. And so you can kind of cruise and slide into it and stop there, or you can continue to develop leaders, grow people, and be on the high end of that average. You also get a Lexus car allowance. I am telling you, the speaker system in my Lexus is amazing. And I love my music loud. I'm talking like max volume. And I was not a fancy car person, but I have to say I really like the car. Also, a luxury trip for 2 annually to a tropical location. It's either Mexico or Hawaii. Typically, both places are incredible. Angela is a Sapphire ambassador. So that's a team between 600 and 700 people. It doesn't mean that she has gone out and signed up 600 or 700 people and started them on a welcome pack. It means that she has spent time with Sarah and Samantha and Jennifer and Emily, and she's helped them to create their own financial security and stability. So maybe one person has 50 under them and another person has 100. And really, she's in the business of developing leaders, and that's what she's doing. And then as a diamond, having a team between 900 and maybe 1100 people. And as you can see, these numbers are very generous and they are very accurate. I'm a diamond 3 times over, and we will do it a 4th time. As a diamond, you do get that annual trip for 2, but then you get an additional trip for 2 to the diamond destination. And so you can see how Julia was able to fund her adoption. You can see how this opens up a window of opportunity for our family specifically. It meant that my husband was able to have injuries, that he was able to step away from working in the ER. It meant that when one of our children was sick, he was able to take leave, and we were able to focus all of our energy and attention for 3 months on our child. It meant that we were done with the 80 to 90 hour work weeks that we'd been doing for 18, 19 years. It meant a completely different way of life and true freedom. Last night, I looked him in the eyes and I said, "You worked so hard for so long. I don't want you to feel bad for a second that you're not working really hard in a traditional sense, making income in the traditional sense, because now he has such a beautiful active role in our family and in our children." And so, one of the biggest blessings of this business is being connected with other passionate, purpose driven people that want to make an income, that want to make a difference, that want to change people's lives. And Phyllis is one of those people. I met Phyllis through my dear friend Barbie, who used to work in the ER with my husband here on the island of Kauai. She no longer works in that ER because she doesn't have to. And I'm going to turn the time over to Phyllis to share her story.
Thanks, Brooke. Oh my gosh, you guys, you were in the right place at the right time. I'm Phyllis Anderson, and I am an Emerald ambassador in this company. And what brought me to Plexus was being in a space of desperation for my health. I was a self-proclaimed marathon runner, nurse of 22 years in the ER. I knew all the things. If you just ate properly and exercised, you would be healthy. That's what I used to say. And I found myself coming to a screeching halt of, my joints are killing me. I'm eating a whole bottle of ibuprofen here. Must be all that running that I'm doing. I was bloated, gassy, constipated. I had brain fog. And at 48 years old is when I found Plexus. I was like, this is too young to be putting yourself on a waiting list for a memory care facility. I mean, I felt like that was my path. I thought there was something really wrong. But enter my sister-in-law, my sweet Barbie is her name. She shared these products with me, and I'm forever grateful for that. We literally started the same day drinking our pink drink together. And what I love about this business is that it's that simple. She said, I don't know, I think this might help you. You want to try it? I said, sign me up. I didn't ask for ingredients. I just knew and trusted her because she's my sister-in-law. She's a nurse. She's a fitness freak. And that's why I called her. I was like, I guess I need a new workout program. This exercise isn't working. I'm running 35 miles a week and cross training 6 days at the gym and eating pretty healthy, except for my wine and my sugar. So those were my saboteurs, but I'd always been doing that. And I'd gained 20 pounds in 6 months. So again, it's a fast forward because I just want to tell you that from chronic infections, joint pain, all those things, poor digestion, reflux, acid in my throat in the morning, sore throats every morning, it's gone, guys. Like, chronic urinary tract infections are a sign of candida yeast overgrowth. Get to the source, get to the root. You're going to fix a lot of people and you're going to give them hope. And so that's what I stood on my little mountaintop, my soapbox, and I shared with anyone that would listen to me because as a nurse, I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, we aren't fixing these people in the ER. We're sending them out with like, sorry, here's another antibiotic. Here's some Band-Aids for those problems, but we're not getting to the root cause. And it's funny that there tend to be a lot of nurses. I mean, you'll see nurses in this group here tonight, but you don't have to be a nurse to share these products. You just have to say, look, I got a testimony to share with you. Can I send it to you? I really think this could help you, friend. And that's it. There's nothing salesy, gross, cheesy, greasy, nothing about that. You could be saving their life. Look at Angela. She's not in a wheelchair. I'll tell you, I didn't even know that about you, girl. She is not in a wheelchair. That's all I'm going to say. She's darling. She's active. Like, thank you, Plexus. So whose life are you about to change? Because I believe in God, and I believe God's divine purpose. He threw this in my lap. He threw this in all of your laps, believe it or not. And he meant for us to tell others about it. And so I love that Plexus is so generous. And I think Brooke's going to wrap us up and tell us about, well, she's already showed us how generous they are, but there's some simple things you can do too. But I just want to tell you, my purpose in doing this, like I said, is to give hope, health, and happiness to anyone who will listen. And I don't care about the no, because if somebody's going to tell me no, I'm just going to say, gosh, that's a bummer. You're really missing out. Or maybe I'll circle back around when you're ready next time. I don't take it personally, and I just keep loving on them and keep sharing with them. So how this has blessed my family. Oh my goodness, you guys. We have helped pay for my son's wedding. We have bought a car for another child, actually 2 kids. We are paying cash for my son's college education. We are debt free. So I worked as an Emerald. I ranked Emerald in my first 11 months before I hit 11 months, actually. And I have been holding that rank and paying things off. I've been working a job as a nurse until March 30th of this year. I officially retired. How is that to retire at 51 years old when I thought, I just knew I was not going to be a nurse forever, like some of the nurse friends that I work with who are 65 or 72. I just knew that was not happening. And so isn't it beautiful? Because in your mind, you can say, Lord, what else is there? What else could I be doing? How else can I make this work? And Plexus, you guys, Plexus was my plan B. It's my plan A. And I love it. My body language changes. If I was talking about Phyllis, you got to go to work tomorrow. Here's Phyllis's body language. It doesn't look good. It's stressed out. It's like, ah. But here's Phyllis's body language when she shares Plexus. It's like, oh my God, I cannot wait to tell you how this is going to help you. And oh my gosh, and the girls on my team. And I'm a freak right now because my team is popping, and it's beautiful because I'm watching their lives be changed, and I'm watching them recklessly reckless abandonment, unapologetically sharing with their family and friends. And so I can't wait to see their dreams come true too. My husband's a fireman. He retires in 2 years, but guess what? He doesn't have to do right now? Work a ton of overtime. We are taking vacations. My day starts when I wake up and I decide for it to start. I don't have to clock in or clock out. It feels wonderful. My springboard is what Plexus is a springboard for achieving dreams. I have 2 little books that I plan to write. I support this little sweetie right here. His name is John Orkapizi. He's in Togo, Africa. I support my sister's orphanage in Bangladesh that she created, this NGO. Oh my gosh, Plexus on the brain. This NGO by herself. And so it's just feels so good to be able to be like, yes, here's some money. Yes, here. How else can I help, and what else can I do to give back to this world? Because Plexus has given me so much. So they talked about the retreats, the travel, our annual trips with a person of our choice, which is my husband. So he gets to go, and it's beautiful. It's a 5-star resort. Like I would always look at those resorts and I would wonder who gets to stay there. Like they make a lot of money to be able to pay $300, $400, $500 a night. Like that's crazy money. Plexus pays for us to do that. And you are treated like royalty. Roll out the red carpet, guys, because that's how you're treated. And it feels really good. I'm not going to lie. Plexus Lexus, I use a lifestyle bonus and it pays for my little cute car that's in my garage. So you have those options. And again, just the generosity is amazing. The people you'll meet. Oh, I just want to kiss you all because legit gold. That's the best.
Well, one of the really exciting things, it's so funny because Phyllis messaged me the other day and I said, well, hey, why don't you just come to Hawaii? Like just fly over. And I tempted her. I was like, just come and work with me this week. Like, why not? The front bedroom is open. And so we have this great community and we do have the ultimate in flexibility. And here's why I want to wrap things up, you guys. I want to wrap things up just saying, what if? What if you could actually mastermind and create the life that you want to live? What would that look like? Who would you be with? What would you be doing? What car would you be driving? What people would you be laughing with? What beach would you be walking on? What mountain would you be climbing? What couch would you be sitting on? What would you be doing every day? Who would you be doing it with? How would you be feeling? How much more often would you be able to say yes instead of, no, I can't do that. I'm going to have to pass up on that. Or no, I'm so sorry. I can't help you. We can't do that right now. How many more yes days do you want to have in your life? You guys, the world is not the same, and it will never be quite the same. We do live in an age where the digital economy is just growing like crazy. And I feel like I want to grab everybody through this computer and just grab your shoulders and shake you to wake you up and be like, we have found it. We have found what people need. Everybody needs health. It's not just a beauty product. Everybody needs to feel good. It's not just your hair. Everybody needs to have that health to live the life they want. It's not just what they wear. We have found what everybody needs, no matter where they come from and how old they are. And we have just happened to be blessed to find a compensation plan that is literally giving all of us a raise come June 1st. And so when you join Plexus this month, you literally can start your business for $9.95. You can go and help 3 other people start on their health journey and walk out the door with $400. I have a couple friends here on this call that did that in one day. What would you do with $400? You can go and help 6 people start and walk out the door with $700. What would you do with $700? You can help 10 people and walk out the door with over $1,000. What would you do with that? I can think of a lot of good uses for that, and I know you can too. And so I want to encourage you. This is my little call to you guys to take some action. Stop overthinking. Stop hesitating. Stop being afraid of what Sam or Barbara or Mary might think down the street. Guess what? She's not thinking about you. She's thinking about her and all her problems. Stop worrying about that and start spending more time in your dreamland and doing the work to create your dream. We have it here in Plexus. We have the products, we have the systems, we have the compensation, and we have the heart to help you succeed. I want to encourage you to get back together with the person that sent you to this call, or contact the person that sent you the recording and say, hey, I'm ready. Let's run. I want that $400. I want that $700. I want that $1,000 before the end of May. This is not a I'll start June 1st or I'll start Monday. This is I start now. I say yes now. I say what if now. Thank you so much for spending time with us. We have enjoyed this time. Thank you, Angela, Julia, Phyllis. We have appreciated and loved being with you tonight. Have a great night.